Hi everybody, it's Crystal from Bagoday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started on the inverted shell stitch. So this is really pretty, and it's extremely easy to do. It's only a 2-row repeat, believe it or not. You can see how, I guess you could do it, flip it either way that you wanted, but the shells, I kind of like them going down. It's called inverted because the shells kind of pop out a bit there. Now, you could use either side of the work that you want, I guess. But I prefer this side. And I believe this is the correct side. But you guys want to do it? It's beautiful, beautiful. Let's do it. You guys can do it. It's simple. Okay, for the yarn I use for this stitch tutorial is just Lion Brand Landscapes. It's a 100% medium 4-weight acrylic, and the color that I use is called Apple Orchard. And I'm going to be using a size J hook. Now this stitch would be great for anything, such as anything actually that you want. You could use it for. It's a pretty solid stitch, so great for you know, wash rags, dish rags if you make it cotton. As far as you can, a warm wrap if you use like acrylic or wool, or a cotton wrap, sweaters, bags, sky's the limit. You can make anything you want with that one. All right, so this stitch is done in a multiple of 8 plus 2, which means that your starting chain needs to be evenly divisible by 8, and then you add 2 more stitches to your base chain. Okay, and once you get that done, we're going to start row 1, and we're going to do a single crochet in the second stitch from the hook. Now remember, we don't count the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, and single crochet into it. In row 1, we're just going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch for the length of your chain. So that's pretty easy. 1 single in every stitch till you get to the end. Just like that. Okay, I have made it to the end of row 1. Now we're going to go ahead and start row 2. So row 2, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch, okay? It doesn't count as anything, so we're just going to pretend like it's not there. In the very first stitch here, very first one, we are going to work 4 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, and there's 4. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to skip 3 stitches. Skip, skip, skip. And in the next stitch, we are going to put a single crochet. So we skip 3, and we're going to single crochet into the next. And then we're going to skip 3 again. Skip, skip, skip. In the next, we're going to work a shell. So a shell stitch for this particular pattern, the inverted shell, a shell consists of 7 double crochets all into the same stitch. So we skip our 3, 1, 2, 3, and shell into the next. So 7 double crochets into the next. And then we're going to kind of repeat that. So we're going to skip 3 stitches again. 1, 2, 3. And in the next stitch, we are going to do a single crochet. And then we will skip 3 stitches again. 1, 2, 3. And the next one, we will work our shell, which is 7 double crochets, all into the same stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll repeat again. We're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the next, and skip 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and work a shell into the next, which is 7 double crochets into the same stitch. And we're going to repeat that pattern until we get to the end of the row. All right, I'm coming to the end of row 2, and I just did a single crochet, and I have 4 stitches that remain. I'm going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to work 4 double crochets into the last stitch. So 4 doubles into the last stitch. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that will end row 2. Now rows 3 and 4 are the repeat rows for the entire stitch, so it's pretty easy. So let's go ahead and get started on row 3. So row 3, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. We are going to put that chain 1 does not count as a stitch, it doesn't count as anything. We're going to put a single crochet right there into that very first stitch. And then we are going to work a chain of 2. 1, 2. Now we're going to do a double crochet 7 together. Now I'm going to show you how we do that. It's not hard. We're going to yarn over, go in to the next stitch and draw up a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. You want to do that 7 times. So that would have been number 1. We're going to yarn over and go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. That's 2 times. Again, yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. There's 3 times. Again, yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. That's 4. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. That's 5 times. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. That's 6 times. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. So that was 7 times. You can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 posts there, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 loops on your hook. Now we're going to yarn over and go through all 8 loops that are on your hook, give it a little tug, and now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to single crochet directly into the next stitch that's not worked. You can see this one right here has been worked, even though it looks like it hasn't. Don't let that fool you. Go directly to the next one and single crochet like that. And we're going to repeat that starting from over here. We're going to where we chain 2. So we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do our double crochet 7 together again. So yarn over, go into the next stitch and draw up a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops. We want to do that 7 times. So that was 1. Yarn over, next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. That's 2 times. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops 3 times. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. That's 4 times. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. That's 5 times. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. That's 6 times. One more time. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops. You should have 8 loops that remain. Yarn over and go through all 8 loops. Give it a little snug, and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And single crochet into the next stitch, just like that. And then we're going to start again. I'll do it one more time. So we are going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to do our double crochet 7 together. So yarn over into the next stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2. We need to do that 7 times. That was number 1. Okay, that was 7 times, 8 loops on my hook. Yarn over and go through all 8. Give it a little tug, chain 4, and single crochet into my next stitch. And then I'll repeat by chaining 2 and doing my 7 double crochet again together. And you want to do that until you get to the end of the row. Okay, I've come to the end and I did 7 double crochet together. I have 1 stitch here on the end that remains unworked. So after this double crochet 7 together, I'm going to tug it a little bit. I'm going to do my chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to single crochet into that last stitch, and that'll end row 3. And we're going to start row 4. Row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And we're going to start off by putting 4 double crochets into this very first stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we are going to skip this chain space here, and we're going to single crochet into the eye of this double crochet 7 together. So right there in that spot, go right in there and single crochet like that. And then we're going to skip this chain space here, and right here in this single crochet we're going to work a shell. So we're just going to do our 7 double crochets into this single crochet from the previous row. Two, there's 7, and then we are going to skip this chain space and single crochet right here into the eye of this 7 or double crochet 7 together. So right there into that little spot, single crochet into it, and that's what we're going to repeat to the end of the row. So we skip this next chain space here, and in this single crochet we're going to work a shell. So we're going to work 7 double crochets into this single crochet. There's 1, 2, and skip this chain space, and right here in the eye of this double crochet 7 together, we're going to single crochet right in that little spot right there, just like that. And then we're going to repeat that pattern until we get to the end of the row. So I will skip this chain space and do a shell into the next single crochet. Okay, I'm coming to the end of the row. I just did a single crochet into the eye of my last double crochet 7 together from the previous round. Now I'm going to skip this chain space, and this last stitch here I'm going to do 4 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, and there's 4. And that is it. We just keep repeating rows 3 and 4 until you get to your desired length. So for row 5, I will do a repeat of row 3, which is where we chain 1 and turn, and a single crochet into the first stitch, and we chain 2, and we do our double crochet 7 together. So that's it. That's how you crochet the inverted shell stitch. Now look in the comments. The very first comment will be from me. I will put time stamps to the start of rows 3 and 4. That way you can click on those in case you have trouble remembering what they are. But I hope you enjoy my tutorial. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Whatever you make out of this, anything can be made out of this stitch. Anything. given the right yarn, it can make a beautiful, beautiful piece. You show me a picture of it on Instagram. Come follow me, hashtag me, Bagoday Crochet. I'd really, really love to see it. Or anything else that you make. But until next time, have a good day and please stay safe.